Hi YouTube, this is Amber. No, I'm not dead. I'm sorry I haven't uploaded any videos lately. Um, the last, I guess, month of my pregnancy was really rough. Um, I was hurting a lot, and I was really dizzy. So they just kind of kept an eye on me. That last month, I was really, really uncomfortable. Um, my son was a lot lower. That's where he sat in my stomach, and my daughter was really, really, really high, and it was really uncomfortable to do anything around the house. I was miserable. I wasn't sleeping at all. I was hurting. And then one day I went to the doctor, and I came home. I was fine. Then the next day, I felt like my water had, broke, and the doctor told me, well, come on in. I'm not sure if you broke it or not. I went to the doctor, and sure enough, my water had broke, so I went. Luckily, my doctor works out of the hospital where I had my son, so he just sent me downstairs. They started me on an IV, and the nurse mentioned something about the doctor wanted her to prep me for surgery. So within an hour, I was already in the operating room. My husband was on his way from work to make it, and he works about 45 minutes to an hour away from the hospital, so he barely got there on time. But they did a spinal, and I had a C-section. Had a very healthy little girl. She was very, very hungry. The nurse told my husband, I don't think she's gonna wait for her mama. Is it okay if we feed her? And she's been hungry ever since. Let's see. I did have a complication with my C-section about a week later. I noticed that my incision had a lump on one side. I mean, it almost felt like they left something behind, and it was really scary. I went to the doctor and I asked him what that lump was, and he put me on antibiotics thinking it was an infection. I went back that week, but at the end of the week, and it hadn't changed. So he had me go downstairs to the hospital and get an ultrasound. I went and had my ultrasound, which showed that there was a mass. That same day, I ended up having to get my incision reopened. For some reason, I thought it wasn't going to be a big, it was going to hurt, but it was going to be, a easy little cut, and maybe put a drain, and I was going to be able to go home that same day. He ended up putting me under and reopening the cut. He scrubbed the incision where he thought I had an infection. It ended up being blood. It was a hematoma, and he drained it and scrubbed it real well. He told me he needed to heal from the inside out, so I actually have an open wound. The incision part that he had to open back up is open. So I was on a lot of pain meds. I was at the hospital for 3 days, and he ordered me to have in-home care. So once I got home, I was lucky. I had my mother-in-law over, and she helped me out more than you could ever imagine. So I was able to heal a lot faster than somebody would normally heal. I was 2 weeks ahead of my healing time because of all the help I had at home. My husband was doing all the cooking and all the cleaning, and his mom was helping out so much, and they wouldn't even let me stand up and get myself a drink. They're like, go sit back down and I'll get it for you. So I was very lucky when it came to that. But at some point, my husband had to go back to work, and his mom went back to California. So now I'm starting to get back into a routine. I get the nurse that comes over to my house 3 times a week, and she takes care of packs my wound. They stuff it with gauze, and so that it can drain it. Basically, what they told me was they wet the gauze with a little bit of saline solution, but not too much. What it does is, it's kind of like a Biore pore strip on your nose. You wet it and you put it on your nose. You make sure that it's on there tight. You wait for it to dry, and then you pull it off, and all the impurities come off of your nose. The blackheads and the whiteheads, and just the nastiness on your nose. Basically, that's what it's doing to my incision area. They put the gauze in there that's a little bit damp. When it dries up and then you pull it off, all the impurities and stuff come off of it, and it starts to close up. It's still not fully healed. It's still pretty. It's closed up at least halfway. It's been about a month since I've had this open incision. Like I said, the nurse comes 3 times a week. I've been going to the doctor twice a week. The 2 days a week, Monday through Friday, that the nurse doesn't come, I go see him, and he packs my wound and makes sure that we're doing it properly. My husband's been packing it with the gauze and all that stuff twice a day. So it's been rough getting used to 2 surgeries back to back, within a month, and then dealing with my rambunctious 3-year-old boy and a newborn. So it's been really rough. Not a lot of sleep. She's got her days and her nights mixed up. So she's up usually all night and sleeps during the day. My little boy doesn't take naps anymore. So it's been rough to get any type of sleep. That's where I've been. I've been trying to heal and trying to get back into the groove of things. Luckily, I was able to lose a lot of weight. I think the gastric bypass had a lot to do with it. I think my highest weight was 168, and that was 8 months pregnant, because she was born a little early. So 168 the day I had her, and I'm already down to 130, 135. So that's not bad at all. That's way below my goal weight, which was, I think, 160. I would have been happy at 160. But it got a lot lower than that. So everything worked out fine when it comes to my weight. Breastfeeding sucks with the second incision. Them having to open me back up, my supply, my breast milk supply lowered, and I wasn't allowed to give her any of my milk because I was on so many pain meds and the anesthesia, and I had a nausea patch behind my ear and the antibiotics. So I wasn't allowed to give it to her, which that didn't make me go dry, but since I was pumping at the hospital. But after gastric bypass, for some reason, I just go dry after a month. That's like the most that I've been able to pump, just a month. So that's about it. Hopefully I'll be able to make some videos pretty soon. When I start feeling better, this is the best I've felt in a while. I'm really excited. We named our little girl Brooklyn. I don't know if you guys can see my necklace. I don't know. Here, let's see. It says Brooklyn. And I got it on Etsy.com. If you want to know more of where I got my personalized necklace, let me know. Her name is Asisa. I hope I'm saying it right. Love you, girl. Thanks. So her name is Brooklyn, and a lot of my husband's family comes from New York, so we really liked Brooklyn, and her middle name is Grace, and that's after my grandmother who passed away a few years ago. So Brooklyn Grace. We're really excited, and we feel very blessed to have her in our lives. One thing I wanted to say was I had a friend. Well, I have a friend, SJ. You know who you are, my green froggy. She had a bowel obstruction the day I went in for my when they opened me back up, my incision back up with the hematoma. She had a bowel obstruction, and it really scared me. I didn't know a lot of weight loss patients had bowel obstructions, so that really scared me. I guess you can't prevent them, really. They just kind of happen, and I'm just glad that she's okay. And it made me really thankful for everything. And the other day my mom was telling me, she said, you know, do you regret having the surgery? And I told her, I was like, just the fact that I was able to have my 2 kids, it made it everything worthwhile. I hope that's not postpartum depression. I'm just very thankful to have a good husband that, you know, has been helping me out so much, and 2 beautiful kids, you know. So hopefully I'll be able to make some more videos soon, and thank you for everything, and thanks to all my new subscribers, and thank you for joining me on this journey, and I hope I get to be, you know, a part of your journey as well. Have a good night, and thanks a lot. Happy holidays.